Forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Greens at 402-467-4444 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-4444.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, two-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it. It's Monday show of On the Block, brought to you by NEPCO. Check them out, nepcoinc.com, constructorslincoln.com, readymixconcrete.com if you want to learn more. Austin Norman, E-Strick with you.
Gee,
how was your weekend, partner? How was it?
It was great.
Love to hear it.
It was great. Probably, let me see. You may want to go up a little bit. My head is kind of cut off. I already got a big old head. Yeah, there we go. I already got a big old head, and I know y'all over there laughing, but that's all right.
It's full of knowledge, not ego.
There you go, that part. What's his name? Pinky in the
brain.
That's me.
What are we going to do tonight, Brian? Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
So
I was raised on Pinky in the Brain.
I think they need to bring that back. They need to put it like in a full.
Don't mess with it.
Leave it alone.
Don't mess with it. Don't mess it up.
Look, while we're on this topic, and then I'll tell you about my weekend. While we're on this topic, 402-464-5685. I'm going to ask my partner this. It doesn't have to necessarily be a movie, but it can. What 3 things that you have done, been, watched, or, in that vein, that needed to stay the same and they should have left it alone? What are those 3 things? And we can come up with that 245. I'll leave it on your brain. We don't have to do it right now. I'll let you think about it. But I'll tell you about my weekend while you're thinking. We can talk about this at 245 because Juan Soto's contract is good. I love it. I want to talk about it, but we may not necessarily need the full segment for that one. So anyway, because Stricky don't. That's gonna be pretty much
I'll go buck wild.
You'll go buck wild on that one. So here's the thing. This weekend, it was very relaxing. I went downtown. The weather was absolutely beautiful, Friday and Saturday. Am I right, or was it Saturday, Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday. Friday wasn't bad.
Friday wasn't too bad, but it was still kind of cool. But next level, beautiful. I think a couple of my friends went out and played golf. It was that good. So on Friday, I went downtown just to get out of the house, man. I didn't really do anything. I chilled out. I watched a couple things on TV. Went downtown to a little spot that's kind of a lounge with a cigar, tied to it, and just talked to some friends. My ace boom coom Terrence Badgett was out of town. He was in KC over the weekend, so I didn't really get to hang with him. So I went down and just chopped it up with some business minds and just to listen and do that. Saturday, I literally didn't move.
Atta boy.
It was championship weekend. It was everything in the house. It was cleaning. It was washing. It was just and watching games.
Including Nebraska, Michigan State, which we have said our piece on and we will not be addressing today.
No, we will not be talking about that. That was a travesty. And then Sunday, man, it was pretty much the same. It was very relaxing. I didn't really go out of the house all weekend. And I know some of you guys, if you guys follow me on, I don't post a lot of that on X. Usually my X stuff has to do with sports or something that I see or watching. Definitely a lot what we do here at the Ticket with 93.7 The Ticket and On the Block as well as WTF. But if you follow me like on Instagram at Strick 2020, you'll probably see some fun things I do. You know what I mean? Like I posted my birthday trip and, so you'll get to see some of those things. But when I'm here, I'm very chill. When I'm back home, I don't really go nowhere.
Yeah.
Sit at home. Copa, you guys might see me there sometimes, but
you're recharging.
Yeah, recharging. Holidays are coming up. You got you guys got your shopping all done, or you already started? Are you a late bloomer as well as far as putting up your Christmas trees? Or are you the early bloomer putting it up before Halloween? Like which one are you?
That ain't me.
That ain't you?
No, that ain't me.
You're a late bloomer?
Black Friday.
Okay.
Black Friday.
That's when it all gets started.
Yeah.
Do you do your shopping online or do you like to still go into the store?
Big gifts are online, stockings are in the store.
Because you want it sent to the house, you don't want to have to transport.
Right.
Okay. Do you have to worry about the thieveries? Is that a big thing here as opposed to some other places?
I'm going to knock on some wood when I say this. Our neighborhood's pretty good so far. Not bad. We had 1 or 2 incidents of tomfoolery and hooliganism when we first moved in, but that was, a couple of years ago now? So we're chilling right now.
Cool.
Thomas in Lincoln says, done with shopping. My tree is the cake tree. Easy put up, easy take down.
The what?
The cake tree.
Cake tree.
I assume he means
for me. Oh,
I assume.
Okay.
But if you have a tree made of cake, sign me the heck up.
The C and the F is close. I'm the fake tree king too. When I don't really put trees up. My kids are older now. I just, and unless I absolutely know what they want, I don't buy stuff because I went through that phase with them in their teenage years. Austin.
CREAM. Cash rules everything around.
That part. Cream. Right? I went through that phase with my kids, y'all. And that phase of you buy them something and you see that look on their eye. You know what I'm saying? You see that look in their face like, thank you, Dad, but
try again for my birthday.
Right?
Yeah.
and so I said, oh, okay, that's how y'all gonna act. All right. I'm just gonna send you money. Do it yourself. Your DIY project is take this cash that I'm sending you and you go do it yourself. I'm not doing it like that no more. I don't want to see that face or that call when I FaceTime you. Hey, what's going on, baby? Did you get the gifts? Oh, yeah, Daddy, thank you. No, we're not doing that no more.
Respect. Let's go to the text line here. Thomas in Lincoln says, Strick, that amazing big brain has great takes.
Sometimes.
Thomas and Lincoln's with you.
Thanks, Thomas. I sometimes, I try to think outside the box sometimes.
Cubsker, I have to order gifts for my girlfriend and 2 friends, but I'll ship the 2 gifts to my friends from Amazon. Nobody else getting none.
Yeah.
Respect. And Crawford, we will pass your message along. Hey, Ron, this is a good spot to start us off here as we dive into some Husker news from the weekend. Austin, why did you let Keona Davis leave? I didn't realize I let Keona Davis leave. I knew he was transferring. I just saw that come out. Keona Davis made the mistake of not having a conversation with me first, or he wouldn't have wanted to leave. So, sorry, don't have the pull on Keona Davis. I thought I did, Ron. Sorry about that. But, Stricky, some good news for the Huskers. Emmett Johnson is back. He announced that yesterday after 3 days in the portal. We talked about it on Friday, and then by Thursday. By Friday, he was in the portal, and then Sunday, he withdraws his name from the transfer portal. Your reaction to Nebraska getting number 21 back?
Oh, my.
Yeah, your
I thought
reaction.
you was going to play something that he said.
No, we'll get that from Scott Frost momentarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think I think you've seen glimpses of this. It's not often that you see it, but I think you do see it sometimes. Where you look at a player and they understand their position and they understand their value and how they've raised that value. And you look at how I believe they look in the room too. Don't get it twisted. They look in that room. And look, I'm not saying this is the case, but I'm just going to use this as a hypothetical. Oh yeah. Dowdell came here. Okay, this is what you gave him, huh? Okay, yeah. You know what I did. You know Holgerson.
You know how he used me.
You know how he used me. There's value. Somebody wants that. Let me do what Stricky did when he went to Denver. As I told you the story, I shared the story. See, the stories that Stricky shares, it somehow fits into the conversation at some point in time. I don't just be sharing them just to share them. I see things, and I'm not Cleo. Like, y'all young bucks don't know about Cleo, but, some of the older ones do. I'm not Miss Cleo. I don't have the crystal ball or the magic 8 ball. I don't have that, but I do sense things that are kind of floating out into they're percolating out there. And I throw a story out just to kind of wet your whistle or give you a little appetizer on the possibilities of what's going on out there. Come back to find out, I believe, I don't know, I haven't had a conversation with him, but I believe it was a Stricky type situation. I put it out into the atmosphere. You know the value. There's nobody in this room. Gabe Verban has vacated. There's no one coming. Ramir Johnson is what?
Out of eligibility.
So the closest thing to what Holgerson I'm seeing, as far as he got to see, he's taking some vision too, as to far as what he thinks about what he's going to be doing. I'm probably the most valuable guy in this room.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go out here in the transfer portal and let's up this ante a little bit and let's have a conversation. And the conversation happens. And I believe then he makes a decision to return. I ultimately believe that he knew that this was probably the best place for him by way of style and what he's seeing as what's coming. Now you can go find a place out there as well, but you're most comfortable here because we've talked about, when Coach White left, what did we say? Why some people jumped into the transfer portal with him. We talked about the fact that he knows me.
Yes.
So
I know him. He knows me. We can get off on the right foot. I'm going to play because I know the system.
That part. So anyway, it's no difference for me when I played with the Dallas Mavericks. When I returned to the Mavericks after being cut and going to the CBA, let me just say, going into that summer before my second year, there was a style that they were playing, and it was the triangle. And the triangle is very cerebral. It's a lot of react, respond, what the defense is doing, take what they give you and go from there. and it's not traditional point guard. So it's just a guard, just know how to play a position, right? And that's how it worked. When people started coming in, I was ahead of the curve because I understood how to make it work for me. I understood where shots were going to come for me.
Right.
And I was able to take advantage of that. That's what I think Emmett Johnson put himself in a position to do and to leverage that on top of that to get better NIL situation.
Couple things from the transfer portal here. So 3082 says, if Johnson hit the portal and withdrew, can he still play the bowl game? Yes, Emmett Johnson should be available for the bowl game. He's not a new signee, never enrolled anywhere else as far as we know. Again, he was in the portal for 3 days, and it hadn't even opened. It officially opened today. As of noon Eastern, 551 players in the portal, a new record after 530 were in the portal on day one last year.
And that keeps going up, huh?
And it's going to keep going up.
It's going until there's regulations, Austin. I think until there's some form of a regulation. I've listened to a couple of pundits talk about some form of a salary cap. Because go look at the NFL. The Cincinnati Bengals are good, but we know what the system is. The system is the younger the player, they're on a rookie scale contract. They're not getting the big bucks,
right?
No whammies. They're not getting that yet. So you can facilitate a lot of talent around with money just able to spend.
Right.
You put a salary cap on it, it forces you to make a decision. Right now, it is basically baseball 2.0.
Sure.
The biggest bank take little bank.
Right.
Without a pay the little guy system.
No.
So it's even
no
worse.
Revenue sharing.
Right? It's even worse. So big bank right now is taking little bank. And while we're on this quick subject, I'm going to throw this out here before all the rest of the listeners get in. So you guys will be able to get this information. You see what how Dan Lanning is using the system? Dan Lanning is basically not betting against himself, or what's the word? Not betting against himself. He's not bidding against himself. He's hearing the bid, taking the bid, letting the bid establish itself, goes to the final hours, and he says, yeah, they gave you 1.2, we'll give you 1.6. I don't know what the number is. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, hypothetically.
You know what I'm saying? We'll give you 1.6.
Yeah.
And it's a number to where he's like, I can't refuse that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then you're seeing 5-star switches, and that's how he's doing it. He's playing the system because he knows he's got an infinite amount of money. He don't have to penny pinch and look into the bank account and say like what's his name? Hart. The comedian.
Oh, Kevin Hart.
Like Kevin Hart. He don't have to say like Kevin Hart. My checking and balance and my checking and savings says I have to move my checking to my
savings. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have to do that at Oregon. They can just look and say, boom, we good to go.
Right.
So anyway.
Colgan J says, so if Emmett Johnson wanted more NIL money, why make that public? If he knows his worth, can't he have that conversation behind closed doors? My guess is that conversation was had behind closed doors. My guess is that these conversations didn't just happen Monday after Iowa. I'm sure these conversations had started and had been happening, right? But that kind of leads me to a series of questions here, Strick. It makes me wonder, first of all, who or what drew Emmett Johnson back to Nebraska? Was it like you're saying, they upped their offer? They doubled down on their relationship and their commitment to him, potentially as running back one, right, with Dana Holgerson's system. What was it, or who was it that helped sway Emmett Johnson back to Nebraska? I'd be really curious to know. Was it a power play? Was it a leverage move from Emmett Johnson, or was he legitimately out the door? In my head, Strick, I think you're right. I think that the reason Emmett Johnson entered the portal and came out was leverage. Nebraska said, here's what we can do. Take it or leave it. We really want you back, but you need us more than we need you. Emmett Johnson says, okay, bet. Let me enter the transfer portal. That's when it's time to get serious. That's the leverage. That's the power a player has, because they'll say, no, we don't pay attention to social media. We don't hear any of it. The backlash over losing a guy like Emmett Johnson, the way he performed the last half of the year, really, there was backlash. That wasn't the primary driver, but Nebraska also knew what it had in Emmett Johnson. Dana Holgerson really liked him. There's a reason he got the ball. So do I think he needed to enter the transfer portal? No, I absolutely don't. Do I understand why he did it? Yes. Welcome to leverage. Welcome to negotiating. Welcome to player agency.
Facts.
But here's the other thing, Strick. The portal has changed. The window has changed. You got a 45-day window to enter the portal right now. That, to me, seems to be enough time. But every year, and until, like you said, we get either some regulation or some real guidelines, I think we're going to have more and more of these situations where guys just throw their name in the portal because they have 45 days to decide, and then they can withdraw at any time, right? Out of those 45 days. But you have 45 days to get in. I don't want to assume how I would handle it, right? Having not been in that position. But it just seems weird to me that even with a 45-day window, guys' first instinct is to put a name in the transfer portal, not wait, because you have weeks, right? 45 days, that's 6.5 weeks, essentially, to make up your mind if you're going to enter the transfer portal or not. You could wait till after the bowl game, but I think the other problem is, Strick, once you're in the portal, you can sign immediately. So I think a lot of the rush to get your name in the portal is to be first, right? It's musical chairs. We're losing a lot of roster spots in college football. So I think guys put their name in the portal right away so that other teams can get on them. Oh, we like him. We were waiting for him to enter the portal. Let's go get it. In a better system, in an ideal system for me, guys are taking their time with this decision, right? They're always going to be the ones that want to leave for whatever reason. But a guy like Emmett Johnson, who seems like he was on the fence, who ultimately comes back to Nebraska, guys in his situation, it's just natural, right? It's competition. Everyone wants the best players. And these players deserve the right to capitalize on their 15 minutes, their fame, their skill, their talent, their name, image, likeness, whatever. So I don't want to tamp down the competition for them artificially. But I wish we had a sane system where guys felt comfortable waiting a few weeks to get all the information, to negotiate back and forth with this school. And then the transfer portal is more of a last resort rather than the first thing they go to.
I agree. I'm going to add on to that because here's one I'll throw back with. And we're not in Thursday. We're not in ping pong Thursday yet, but I'm going to throw a ping pong back at you.
Please.
So here's the deal, right? My question also becomes this. We've always had forms of shadiness that operated in collegiate sports, regular sports. We're probably going to let the holidays get through, and sometime in the new year, probably middle January or early February timeframe, we're going to have a friend of mine by the name of Stephen Smith. We call him Headache. And Stephen Smith is a good friend of mine. He always, thanks me sometimes because had it not been for my injury, he wouldn't have had an opportunity to play in the league because he was ostracized. But if you go back and look at Stephen Smith's story, it involves gambling and the shadiness of gambling on court, which we've seen some of that, and we'll tackle that subject once we get into the early part of the year. But how shady do you believe it is? Because there's nothing in me that says there are not conversations being had about a young man wanting to get into the transfer portal. My thing is, how does it happen? Is it happening with these agents? Is it happening with runners? Is it happening with the coaches, kind of backdoor contacts? How is it happening when these young men have a desire to jump into the transfer portal and they're going expeditiously to where they're wanting to go? Things don't just happen expeditiously like that.
They shouldn't.
They don't,
think, right?
Because they have boards, just like NBA and NFL. They have boards. They know who they have interest in. They know who is unhappy. And I've guaranteed the ones that are most unhappy, they've haven't the ones that says monitor, I bet you it says watch. And then there's other. So you can't tell me that these ones that boom, there weren't conversations that were being had because you want to solidify whatever your NIL situation. All this stuff has to be negotiated beforehand. So how shady is that part of the business?
Very. Always has been, always will be, right? It's why we see the major sports leagues have rules against tampering. It's why we have the dead period before this. But we all know, Stricky, it's not a dead period. We all know there's contact going on because they're going to find ways to skirt the rules, to skirt the rule books, right? Maybe the team, the general manager can't talk to someone, but someone who knows the player that you can say, hey, can you reach out to them for us and get back to us, tell us what he said.
Carson.
Right?
Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Allegedly. Allegedly. Right. So of course it's shady. That's just how it's always been in sports, not just in college sports, but in sports in general. Are there ways to curb it? Potentially. But then it gets into it's extremely difficult to do because the NCAA is so cumbersome and because Strick, dare I say, college football and college sports like the attention. Think about how much attention is brought to NFL free agency, is brought to NBA free agency when a superstar hits the market, even MLB free agency with everything going on with Juan Soto that we might touch on here at the bottom of the hour. Of course it's shady. It always has been. It always will be. But what, do you trust the NCAA? Do you trust college football if it ever breaks away from the NCAA to police itself? I don't. I really don't trust them. I think it's going to continue to be this way. We got to find something to do. How do you punish teams for illegal contact? How hard do you have to search to find it out? Right? You're just going to stick the FBI on college football after you sticked it on college basketball for a while. The FBI was a sham in college basketball. It didn't go well. It was such a waste of resources and just a slap on the wrist for everyone. It didn't actually accomplish anything. There's got to be legitimate punishments, but I don't know if I trust the NCAA to be the one to figure it out,
Absolutely. That's my thing. And this could be another topic for another day because I know we got to go to break. But here's the thing. Is there a new body that comes forth out of this? Right. Because the NCAA, especially with regards to football, to me is a super paper tiger. It is a chihuahua nipping at your heels. It is so that all day, every day, there's nothing to it, no power. And we know that the power of the NCAA rides within the basketball form. That's where they make their money for their year. Their budgets are finalized by March Madness, so forth and so on. We understand that. So should there be, in the 402-464-5685, should there be another body that is put together? Does it need to be a governmental body out of Washington? I don't think so. Or does it need to be a collective of all the bodies? Some Division III, FCS, all of them are involved because they all have implications, different ways, and that's what we're going to talk about when we get into Scott Frost's situation. That we will. Stricky mentioned it. Scott Frost back to UCF. There's a really interesting quote from his press conference yesterday. His not introductory, but reintroductory press conference I want to play. I think there's a lot to get to there. Theo 3 and D, appreciate you chiming in on YouTube. Tom as well. Guys, sorry we can't get to all your texts. Like Stricky said, we do have to go to break. We'll respond to some of them over break. But when we get back, Scott Frost back to Central Florida. Did he just give mid-major group of 5 coaches permission to stay at their schools? We'll talk about it when we get back.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
League One Volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Featuring Olympic medalist Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes, Love Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. The inaugural season will showcase some of the world's best volleyball players, from medalists to NCAA champions and international superstars, with the action kicking off on January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Visit lovb.com for more information and to purchase tickets. Volleyball is the next major league.
Be sure to check out the top-selling Recomp. Recomp helps build lean muscle and strength while decreasing body fat. Recomp is ideal for men and women of all ages trying to look their best. Recomp can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3, get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Emmett Johnson back home. Another former Husker back at his home, away from home. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland with you. Hey, speaking of Huskers, it's home. That's Steve Strick. Scott Frost. We know how it ended at Nebraska. We know he was an analyst off-field role with the Rams recently. Reintroduced as Central Florida's 10th head coach in program history. He was head coach number 7, ironically, and now number 10 as well. Stricky, his opening press conference, there's something that really stood out to me and plenty of other people across the country. We're going to play the clip from Scott Frost's opening presser, and we'll react to it. Here is former Nebraska head coach and current Central Florida Knights head coach, Scott Frost.
You know, when you're climbing the ladder of success in life, sometimes they forget to tell you to stop when you're happy. That being said, there was a lot of pressure. And the biggest thing for me is my dad wasn't doing well, and I got to spend time with him. My wife and I were lucky enough to have 2 daughters born at the next place I went. And, you have good times and bad times everywhere. And this game, sometimes you get it done and sometimes you don't. We did the right things here and pushed the right buttons and got it done. And I think we can do that again. In fact, I know we can do that again if we do the right things. UCF, to me, is unique in the country because it's still in its infancy. It might be a toddler now. When I came before, maybe it was in its infancy. But most schools in the country, when you look at the landscape of college football, are kind of pegged where they are, and generally speaking, that's where they're going to be. Always thought since the first time I came until now that the potential for growth and status in college football is bigger here than it is other places, and I'm excited to take the challenge to try to get it there.
When you hear that, Stricky, what do you hear from Scott Frost? What first comes to mind?
So, when I think about that, I understand. We've had conversations here about certain people, my mind just drew a blank. He was at Marquette.
Oh, Shaka.
Well, he was at VCU.
VCU went down to Texas now at
then
Marquette.
back to Marquette.
Yeah.
So we said the same thing. I said the same thing about Shaka. There's certain people that thrive in certain places, right? We talked about like Saban. I still think Saban could have probably been a good professional coach, but there's some people that's where they specialize at. We're talking sports now, and levels. We're talking, there's levels also within the coaching frame, but I'll get to that. I talked about how Mark Few, just how he gets it. He says, we're going to build it here. Why would I want to go anywhere else? I'm in a good conference. If I create the best team in this conference, I will consistently be at the top of the food chain. And why would I want to go to somewhere else where the expectations and the things are at another level, right? So we've talked about that. Now with Scott, I get it. I understood the pull. I understood the drag. Now, this is some things I had heard that he really didn't want it. It was kind of like, you having a child now will understand this. There's times when your son, he gets he loves the peaches and he loves the apples, and there's certain the sweet potatoes maybe or whatever, and maybe the pumpkin. I don't know which one it is, but I'm just telling you, there's something he loves, and he takes it willingly. But boy, when you give him the carrots, or you give him the green beans and the peas, right? Or and then he turns his head when you're trying, and you have to force feed him, right? So that's kind of what I heard happen here. He really didn't want it. It was kind of like he had to take. And then you're dealing with some of the mental strains of what was going on internally with family. And it just was probably too overwhelming for him. So now you get an opportunity to go back. Sometimes staying where you are, and you can relate this in anything, sports, job, life. I've talked to friends often on many occasions, Austin, where I've told them, I said, listen, I know you work in New York, and it seems good, and it seems like it's great when you're making $110,000, but when you add up the true costs of everything with a freaking 1-bedroom loft costing $3,500 to $4,000, and then you're talking about the food costs, and you're talking about travel costs, and you're talking and taxes, and you're talking. You're not really making
what you think you are, because
you and that person happens to be a teacher, and you're looking at it like, well, I can't go and teach for $80,000, but the cost of living difference. So the 80 goes long. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that far as the cost there, but sometimes where you're at is either better for you than where you're trying to go and the grass is greener. That's how it works in a job situation. You can go to another job. The responsibilities could be parallel, could be better, could be higher. The money could be astronomically higher, but what if they go out of business in 3 years? Whereas the other's been there for 50 to 100 plus years, like Nebco. Like Nebco.
Fourth generation, family owned and operated.
We're talking about Nebco, like that's been around for a long time, and you decide, well, I'm going to go over there because they're paying me more money, but in all actuality, they're not established as like a Nebco.
Right.
And so, yeah, you're not making the exact amount of money, but your benefits are better. You're more happier. You feel more comfortable with the environment. You've built something. I just think those pressures ended up hitting him, and he couldn't turn down this.
And being close to his dad, who wasn't feeling the best, right? Like you said in that cut. It does sound to me, Strick, like Nebraska was just a job for Scott Frost, more so than a dream job.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a dream job when we first got the call, or maybe he envisioned it one way in his head.
Or sometime at some point.
Or exactly.
Yeah.
But then at some point for him, it was just Nebraska. It was just a job. And he was legitimately happy in Orlando, in Central Florida. Think about where he was, right? Building him up from, yes, the really good year they had under George O'Leary to winless, to 500, to Peach Bowl champs, the undefeated season, right? Good for Scott Frost. He went back to what's happy to him. It makes sense why he returned to Central Florida. But now, Strick, I'm curious to see if Scott Frost has that level of success in the Big 12. Has he learned the lesson? Will he be happy down the line, right? Because it does feel like, to some degree, Scott Frost just gave college football coaches permission to be Mark Few. That's what it feels like. It almost feels like, Scott Frost wishes he could have been Chris Peterson at Boise State. Right? Think about the work that Chris Peterson did in building Boise State. I mean, it's been a good football program. Not many losing seasons since World War II. And Chris Peterson's still the best coach in program history. Chris Peterson waited and waited and waited till the time was right to move to Washington. And then he steps away. I wonder if Chris Peterson stays at Boise, is he still coaching in college football today? Instead of having made the move, being out and being on the desk. Jay Wright stayed at Villanova. Mm-hmm. That's a bigger basketball name, obviously, than a football name. But I'm curious to see. I mean, Tulane's coach, John Sumrall, just made the jump from, I believe it was Troy to Tulane when Willie Fritz left, and he just turned down North Carolina. Now, maybe some of that is Carolina backed off of him, so he's putting that out there to make it seem like, oh, yeah, I wanted to stay in Tulane all along. But college football is the sport we look at, Strick, with the most haves and have-nots, right? Either at this level or you're nobody. UCF, since Scott Frost was there, you would think became a somebody, moving from the American to the Big 12. But the Big 12 didn't get a whole lot of respect, right? Arizona State's only in the playoff because they have to be. BYU didn't get consideration, even though they could have been on par with Miami, but the committee didn't rank them. So this, to me, Strick, is potentially a sliding doors moment for Group of 5 college coaches. I don't have to take the first offer presented to me. I don't have to go home. If it doesn't feel right in my heart, in my head, and in my gut, I am not obligated to take a job just because I'm obligated to. I am not obligated to go back to a job just because people want me to. Maybe Scott Frost makes the jump to Nebraska again. Maybe he does, right? At the time, it was probably hard to turn down. But Scott Frost is telling you he legitimately considered turning it down. He considered not coming back. And I think Scott Frost is telling young coaches or up-and-coming coaches at a smaller school, trust yourself. Trust your gut. If it feels right, go for it. If it doesn't feel right, bet on yourself. Trust your work. Stay where you're at and wait for the next opportunity.
Well said. Before we go to break, I'm just gonna add this on top of that layered cake that you just put together and put some icing on top of it. The other part is, I think coaches are now coming to a point, Austin, of understanding their niche, understanding where they are, where they fit into the overall landscape of college football, and where they can operate within that niche to still be great and good at what they do.
Yeah.
Be the best at the top of what you do. FCS schools now need to start looking at we're breeding ground. We're going to be the best breeding ground for the next level of guys that come through this program and move on. And we're going to be okay with that. We're going to teach, and we're going to be successful at doing that. And we're going to be the best here.
Yeah.
And then there's another group that's the Group of 5 guys, the Tulanes, the Southern Illinois, the Boise's, actually Boise, I think.
Well, going Pac-12, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
But those level, right? Shout out to SMU.
Yeah. Bet on themselves.
Can you go right? So those level of teams, those Southern Illinois, those like you said, Troy's, the old school Troy's,
App State,
they can find themselves in a specific niche, aspiring to get to that high level of Group of 5s, and they operate there. And as long as you're successful, and I always believe, as long as you're successful at where you're at, you will always be successful, no matter where you're at.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Yeah.
So, You don't have to leave to still have success. You don't have to go to the, yes, you do sometimes think about the next level of the monetary spectrum. Everybody looks at that.
Yeah.
But there's ways that you can still be happy without necessarily, like you have to ask yourself, what's the difference between 50 million and 100? It's $50 million, but how much more happier is it going to make you? I take the Biggie mentality. More money, more problems. like I'm grateful to have it. I'm thankful for it, but I'm at peace where I'm at. Like I don't necessarily need to have this grandiose. I don't want to be Jeff Bezos. I'm being honest when I tell you that. I don't want to be. And here's why you know I'm telling the truth. And we'll get out of here. I told you, I've shared this with you personally. I said I never wanted to ascend to all-star status.
Yeah.
Because I like to go bowling. I like to go to movies. I like to go to dinner. And I don't want to have to deal, because people can look at me sometimes and they may think, or did he play football? And unless you're an absolute basketball fanatic fan, you would not know.
Like Randy Bennett.
Yeah. Yeah. You were you there?
We were both there in Sioux Falls.
You were there.
Yeah.
You saw that. Okay. Yeah. Right? Like that. And that's what I'm saying, man. Just be the best you can be where you are. And that'll keep you happy. That'll keep you at peace. It'll minimize the stress, because you never know when you go to the next location whether that grass is greener or whether it's AstroTurf.
Hey, that part. We're not going to see the end of mid-major coaches jumping to the high major ranks, right? We're going to have our next Kurt Cignetti at some point, right? There's always going to be those success stories. But I wonder if we start to see more group of 5 programs built out. A little bit of just kind of rank college football punditry here before we go to break. This might be, honestly, Strick, the truest test of who Scott Frost is as a coach. UCF, the first time, was kind of set up for him. Nebraska was his choice, but not really his choice, as he seemed to imply in his opening re-introductory press conference. And now Central Florida wanted him back despite the split, and it sounds like he genuinely wants to be there. We're going to see how much Scott Frost has learned. We're going to see if he's a Power 4 caliber head coach, or if it was the American Conference level that made Scott Frost kind of who he was as a head coach. It's going to be fascinating to watch. On that note, let's go to break. When we get back, a few thoughts on Juan Soto's $765 million from the New York Mets.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The Huskers are headed to the Pinstripe Bowl. Cheer on the Huskers in New York City on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour offered by the Nebraska Alumni Association. Your bowl package includes a 2-night hotel stay, round-trip transportation on game day, pregame events, and more. Spots are limited, so book your spot now on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour with the Nebraska Alumni Association. Go to huskerfantravel.com or call 888-831-0858. That's 888-831-0858 or huskerfantravel.com.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. You know, practical things. Brown Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, Brooks, Hoka, and more to make you fashionable and comfortable. Grab a new Ridge wallet or buy 3, get 1 free on Smart Wool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy person in your life. Brown Shoe Fit at 66th and Q in Lincoln.
League One Volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Featuring Olympic medalist Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes, Love Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. The inaugural season will showcase some of the world's best volleyball players, from medalists to NCAA champions and international superstars, with the action kicking off on January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Visit LOVB.com for more information and to purchase tickets. Volleyball is the next major league.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and the holiday sales event is now underway with unbelievably low interest rates and huge discounts on both our new and pre-owned inventory. Right now, we're offering 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. These are the absolute biggest discounts of the year. You heard right, 0% interest rates or $13,000 off select new models. So please stop on in or check us out online at cobblecars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade in Costco.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1003769, $395 per month, lease with 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to assigning, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See delivery details.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, we're back. WTF is on Thursday, 6 to 7. That's where you'll see us. But it's on the block right now on Monday. 2 to 4 every day is where you can find us. He is not Klesher Johnson. He is Austin Orman, and that is my guy. Every day of the week, I get a chance to see him, and we're going to talk some baseball stuff right now. Juan Soto's contract. It is absolutely through the roof. I mean, we just talked about contracts and what that looks like, and how you feel about it, and is it the right place for you? And even I think for those guys, when you're talking at that level, I think there's got to be a discussion as to whether or not you think that where you were is better than where you're going, right? I definitely got to say this, Austin. I look at not Juan Soto, but I look at what Shohei Ohtani did. And he'd already been familiar in the early parts of his contract as to what California looks like and how you're getting decimated upside the head with taxes. And they're trying to charge you now taxes by the mile and on roads that is the 47th out of 51 or out of 51 as far as quality of roads. But yet you're still, you know what I'm saying? So he got to see that, right? But Juan Soto decides to sign a 15-year contract for 765 mil tickets. That's dang near, you know, I think Shohei's going to end up being better the way he structured his. But to look at it, how did he structure it? Is he worth it? He's going to get killed because I played in New York. I know it was bad then. I know it's even super worse now. And with the landscape of politics and everything that's going on, they're hitting you upside the head. You're getting smashed.
Yeah.
So is it really that? Is it inflated cost? What's going on with this Juan Soto contract? Do you like it? Do you think he's worth it? Do you think he'll stay worth it? I mean, you're talking 15 years. I thought they were done with those long contracts, Austin, because they're not panning out. You're getting yourself into Bobby Bonilla territory at this juncture in the game.
Right. This Juan Soto contract is so long that the Mets will be done paying Bobby Bonilla by the end of the contract. Kind of crazy. But that, to me, Strick, is the big question. Would you rather have Shohei Ohtani for the next 9 years or Juan Soto for the next 15? That's really what it comes down to me. Ohtani's deal, smaller, right? Especially with all the deferred money. $51 million with inflation isn't going to look nearly as I popping, jaw-dropping as it does now. Still a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But I'm curious to see how this deal ages. There's a paragraph in one of the Athletics write-ups about it. Would Soto remain an offensive wrecking ball the way Hall of Famers Paul Molitor, Edgar Martinez, and David Ortiz did until they were 40? Or would he experience a sharp decline in his mid-30s, similar to Hall of Famers Albert Pujols and Ken Griffey Jr. and future Hall of Famer Miguel Cabrera? That's what it comes down to. Juan Soto was a wild finalist for Gold Glove in right field this year. Not a good defender, right? You're paying a designated hitter to be the most money of any professional athlete ever. Ever. If you're Steve Cohen, it better be worth it. This is a man who is not afraid to splash money around. Look at Scherzer, look at DeGrom, look at the Francisco Lindor extension, right? Juan Soto right now is on pace to be a top 20 hitter, or a top 20 player and top 10 hitter of all time when it comes to the Hall of Fame. He's doing stuff at a young age that is historically insane, right? The Ted Williams comp gets thrown around. Don't just look at his batting average. Look how he gets on base. His OPS plus right now, his worst season is 43% better than an average hitter. His worst season. Yeah. It's crazy. The only guys that rate worse defensively ahead of him were Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, and Andrew Benintendi. Not exactly known for their gloves, but he's been clutch in the postseason. He's been durable. He's been healthy. But Strick, I honestly don't know if I would rather have the bat of Juan Soto or the bat of Shohei Ohtani. It's pretty similar, right? If you ask me right now, I'd probably take Ohtani. If I can extract a little pitching value for the next 3 or 4 years, and then he gets to only focus on hitting, what he's doing as a hitter right now is equal, if not better, to what Juan Soto is doing. I'd probably take Ohtani for the next 9 over Soto for the next 15. But the fact that Juan Soto is making it even a discussion speaks to just how talented he is with the bat.
Let me ask you this question.
Hit me. I'm at 15. Hit me, dealer.
In 402-464-5685 as well. Listen, who would you rather be right now? Juan Soto at 765 for 15. Shohei Ohtani at 700 for 10 with the retirement plan of a lifetime. Lionel Messi at 674 for 4 years. Patrick Mahomes at 450 for 10. Mike Trout at 427 for 12. Or Cristiano Ronaldo at 536 for 2.5 years. Which one?
Woo! That 536 for 2.5 is looking pretty sweet, Stricky. That's looking pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. And all I have to do is run for 10 minutes and fall down if someone breathes on me wrong.
What does he say before we go to break? Shoot! That's what he said after he got that contract. There's no question about it. My gosh. 2.5 years for half a billy?
Bill!
She
makes Patrick Mahomes look like a bargain. Which at this point he is. Think about how many NFL contract quarterbacks are making more than Patrick Mahomes is right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane. So
there it is. We got to get out of here and go for a break. We'll be back for the second hour. We'll come back and talk about the college football playoff brackets that were released and what does that entail? Is there somebody upset or who's actually excited about it? We'll be right back. 937 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orbit, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Cheer on the Huskers in New York City on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour offered by the Nebraska Alumni Association. Your bowl package includes a 2-night hotel stay, round-trip transportation on game day, pregame events, and more. Spots are limited, so book your spot now on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour with the Nebraska Alumni Association. Go to huskerfantravel.com or call 888-831-0858. That's 888-831-0858 or huskerfantravel.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1003769, $395 per month, lease for 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to signing, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See delivery details.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful, with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome in hour 2 of the show. Like Stricky said, we're talking college football playoff at 3:30. We'll hear from Brian Munson of Husker Online as well. We talked to Brian last Monday, kind of previewing early National Signing Day. We'll get Brian Munson's thoughts on the class as a whole now that it's finalized, see what is in store for Nebraska potentially in February as well. 402-464-5685 if you've got any thoughts. We do want to tell you, this holiday season, we're partnering with Beatrice Bakery for some holiday cake giving. Tune into your favorite 93.7 The Ticket shows all holiday season and nominate people or organizations that you believe are in need of some delicious cakes courtesy of Beatrice Bakery. From Grandma's Fruitcake, chocolate, rum, strawberry daiquiri, and much more, Beatrice Bakery and 93.7 The Ticket want to gift the world of yum to the most deserving people in Lincoln. Send us a text with the person you're nominating in a few sentences saying why to our starter Heyman Jewelers text line at 402-464-5685. Or again, you can nominate the person with a few sentences as to why they deserve the Beatrice Bakery cakes by sending an email to info, @theticketfm.com. All right, Stricky.
Yep.
College football playoff bracket. You look at the 12-team field. Did the committee get it right? Did they get it wrong? Do you like the 12 teams that are in the field? What do you think about it?
Well, I think it pretty much lined itself up for the most part, right? The unique thing about it is the way that it's set up, and the rankings don't look like they match, right? It's kind of weird when you're seeing, it doesn't flow in accordance to the rankings. That's the only part that sometimes to the eye it looks weird, right? The one I think that I knew they couldn't pull the trigger on, but I thought that it's possible that I wouldn't have been mad if it would have happened this way, is what Arizona State did, how they got it done.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they could have leapfrog Boise State. I knew they weren't going to pull the trigger on that. So the way that it laid out was the way mostly it should have, as far as those who got the buys, right?
Mm-hmm. If you're Arizona State, would you rather be staring down a potential date with Oregon in the semis or a potential date with Georgia?
I think the familiarity is a little bit better there, but Oregon's look so dominant. They've looked pretty dominant for the most part. They looked really good, and they look like they're giving you Big Ten style football. They're not looking like Pac-10 style Oregon.
No,
of the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's glimpses of it, because you see Tez Johnson running buck wild out there, like he's a beast out there.
Mm-hmm.
You see that. You see the speed and all of that, the illusion of not illusion, but
elusiveness. The
elusiveness of it, right? Then what else was a little bit of contra? Now, if I'm Tennessee, I'm a little bit disappointed, but I'm gonna ask you this question.
Okay.
If I'm Tennessee, I'm a little bit disappointed because of who, where I fell in that situation. Ohio State, deservedly so. You did it yourself.
Right.
SMU and Penn State's got to be happy.
I would think so.
From where they fell in the bracket that they found themselves in. My question then becomes: is Penn State going to Penn State it again, like they did in the college football in the doggone championship game? Okay, they fought, but are they going to Penn State it? That's what we're going to be able to see. Now, I'm going to be honest. In that bracket, I would love to see SMU beat Boise State.
Ooh.
I just would love to see it.
Ooh.
Just to see them get
in
to
the
that.
semis.
Yeah, right?
Ooh.
I just would love to see it. Indiana, Notre Dame, I'm not too disappointed. I actually think Notre Dame could get clipped. I think Indiana, you come out there with that Notre Dame overhype of yourself and you mess around and find out. I think Georgia's happiest though.
Really? Okay.
I think Georgia's probably the happiest to be where they're at, and not happier than Texas, but I think they're the second happiest team outside of Penn State. But Penn State is so shaky to me that I couldn't even put them in second as far as being happiest or first, because in all actuality, they probably are more happy than anybody. Clemson could surprise people though.
You rolling?
Clemson could surprise people. They could surprise people, but I don't believe it fully. I'm just talking trash right now. But here's the one I'm going to throw out at you. What happens if Ryan Day gets knocked out in the first round? Like, what is the Ohio State people feeling if that happens?
Mad.
Bruh.
They're hanging his for sale sign in his yard. That's what they're doing. They know where he lives. Someone has his address. They are putting the for sale sign on his yard if he loses a home game to Tennessee. That's what's happening.
Now,
Do you think it happens, though?
I don't know. But I think it's fun. Let me just say I love everything about what's going on right now with this playoff situation. One, I loved watching the excitement of football players getting giddy about where they're going, who they're going to play, where they're selected, that they got in, because the saddest people right now by order rank them. You.
Bama fans.
Bama, Ole Miss, South Carolina. Who's the more?
Bama is the saddest. And funny enough, we have a text to that end here on the text line. Bama fan in Lincoln says, not even mad Bama didn't get in, mad that they picked the 12 most deserving, not the 12 best. If they choose this every year, it's in everyone's best interest to leave the top conferences, join crappy ones, and schedule crappy games because record is apparently all that matters. Record should matter. Teams won more games than Alabama. The only reason Alabama was in this discussion was because of their strength of schedule. They lost 3 times. And don't mediocre conference opponents.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Do not let the SEC gaslight you into saying, oh, it's the non-conference strength of schedule.
Yeah.
The only reason Alabama is in this discussion is because they're in the SEC. Bama goes 9-3 against an ACC schedule. See ya.
They're not even consideration.
Unless they Clemson and win the conference championship game. If they're 9-3 in the Big 12, no. Even if they're 9-3 in the Big 10, I doubt they get this sort of respect. I saw an interesting tweet on this, Strick. When we look at the college football playoff, the field ended up being teams with no good wins, but also no bad losses, right? Texas is in. SMU is in. Indiana's in. Versus teams that had good wins, but also some shaky losses. Bama, South Carolina, Ole Miss, right? That's what it ended up being. More so than Big Ten versus SEC, ended up being quantity of wins almost more than quality of wins. So guess what, Bama? You want in? Beat Vandy. You want in? Don't lose to the worst Oklahoma team of the 2000s.
Facts.
That's what it comes down to.
Facts.
That's what you got to be mad about.
Yeah, you should. You really got no one else to be mad. And we talked about it on the show. Is Lane Kiffin has it right there in front of him. All he has to do is win.
That budget,
bruh. Just again, who is the SEC version of Penn State?
Ole Miss.
It's got to be Ole Miss.
It's Ole Miss. Yeah, very clearly.
They like on the movie Life, just can't get right.
Hey.
I don't even feel bad for him, man. Where I feel bad is that you're on there boo-hoo whining and crying. We did enough to get in the game. You guys let us all get. Stop it. Stop it.
Spoken like an Auburn guy.
I'm talking like Michael Jordan now. Stop it. Get some help. I'm saying, man.
The College Football Playoff Committee not putting Alabama in.
Mm-hmm. Hey, but here the crazy thing about that is it's the first time they've been out like that. Like they got the boot.
Bama backdoor.
Stop complaining. You've got.
Would you rather backdoor your way in last year or this year?
Probably last year.
That's the question.
Yeah.
But you lost to Michigan, and guess what? You're facing Michigan again in the ReliaQuest Bowl. So, how about that? Let me ask you this here, Stricky. Right, as we look at odds to win the national championship, that's what it boils down to now. The two teams with the best odds to win the national championship, Texas and Notre Dame, according to power ratings. Texas, 20%, Notre Dame, 19%. Then Ohio State, 16, Georgia, 14, Oregon at 12, according to Kelly Ford's power ratings. You mentioned Ryan Day, and I think this is a fascinating question to bring up. Oregon beats Penn State in the Big Ten championship game, but Penn State might have the easier path.
Facts.
Now, they got to overcome James Franklin being who he is, and they're not even spotty, but downright rotten record against top 5 and top 10 opponents under him. But Oregon probably has to rematch with Ohio State. I feel good about Ohio State winning that game, right? A little more talented across the board than Tennessee. They're at home. I like Ohio State in that one. Then you have to rematch against Ohio State, team that's been on this stage, played in those games before, and is heated for how that game ended the first time. I don't necessarily love how that sets up for Oregon. If Oregon gets past Ohio State, I feel really good about them. But they might not make it out of the quarters. On the flip side, Penn State gets to welcome a Texas team to Happy Valley in the dead of winter. Playing Boise on the West Coast in Arizona can be a little bit more challenging, but Penn State's been really good against the run all year long. Then, is it Georgia? Is it Notre Dame? Is it Indiana? Penn State's not scared of any of those teams. I want to see Penn State, Notre Dame out of that side of the bracket. But it's hard for me to argue that Oregon has the easier path compared to Penn State. And Penn State lost the Big Ten championship game.
Crazy. That's crazy how that sets itself up. When I look at this, right, Notre Dame to me has been Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Penn State combined.
Oh, boy.
They are the team that gets all the hype, get gassed up, everybody gets excited, and they get to the game and get mollywopped.
That one against Bama stands out particularly.
Are we going to see a breakthrough?
I don't know. It's a really fascinating matchup with Indiana, right? Explosive offense versus one of the best defenses in the country. Notre Dame's been legit. They are so good against the pass. Led by Nebraska prep standout Xavier Watts in the defensive backfield there at safety. I could see that game going either way, Stricky, in the first round. Right now, Bill Connolly has Notre Dame favored by 4.8 points, as Penn State favored by 5 over SMU. I think Notre Dame gets it done. I really do. That's no hate. That's no disrespect to Indiana. A lot's been made about Notre Dame's loss to Northern Illinois, deservedly so. It was a bad loss. Notre Dame's been really good. Really good. Now's the proving ground. You trust Georgia more than you trust Notre Dame. Dare I say the Bulldogs look better with Gunnar Stockton than Carson Beck after he went down with his elbow injury?
Yeah.
Kind of wild. I probably lean Georgia in that game, but I'm not writing Notre Dame off. Again, they have their own demons to exercise, to be completely fair. Notre Dame's got a puncher's chance of getting out of the bottom part of the bracket. They really do. They've got to prove it. They've got to go do it. I don't hate how it sets up for Notre Dame. I think they're an interesting dark horse this year. They got to prove it. But Strick, to me, the most interesting spot of the bracket is at the top. That trifecta of Texas, Clemson, and Arizona State. I am shocked by nothing out of that little pot. I'm kind of done with the Texas is overrated stuff. If Texas hadn't made the run to the playoff last year, I would be all over it. But Texas has been there, done that before. It's a different team. It's not the same team. I get it. Don't love rooting for Texas. Don't love feeling good about Texas. I'm much less worried about Texas than I am Clemson. Clemson has real holes. Clemson has real problems. And they have to go to Austin. I like Texas in that one. Texas is more talented across the board than Arizona State. They still are.
No doubt.
But can Cam Scattaboo keep it going? Like, that dude's a wrecking ball.
He is.
If not for Ashton Jenny,
yeah,
we're talking a lot more about Cam Scattaboo.
Yeah.
Because of just how fun he is, the turnaround that he sparked. I probably lean Texas out of there, but maybe Arizona State stays on the heater. They've only lost once with Sam Levitt at quarterback. And maybe Clemson's big game experience comes through. Yeah, they were whopped by Georgia. I get it. But Clemson's a program that's been there, done that before. It sets up best for Texas. I'm not writing anyone off, though, in their quest to get to the semis.
No, you can't. You can't write anyone else. But here's what's crazy about what's going on and what we're about to witness. We're going to see football in college all the way up to January 20.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy when you think it's going to be fun. It's good. I mean, it makes
we're here for it.
It makes for great content. It makes for great discussions. Look, it keeps everything rolling, and then you're only a couple of months down the road before you hit March Madness again. So this is going to be fun, man. This is going to be a fun winter. I think I'm going to be hot on the block with heavy jackets, even when I'm coming in here during cold, brisk, windy, and some snow days. It's going to be interesting to come in from week to week to see what's going on in the landscape of college football in this playoff run.
Might be cold outside. The block stays hot. Speaking of, we got the blockheads to get to. Stricky, they're chiming in. They're clamoring. They got thoughts. 6785 says Cignetti to Ohio State, calling it again. That would require Ohio State to lose. Old Dad 34 says Ryan Day is absolutely canned if they lose to Tennessee. 8018 says they'll drag Ryan Day to midfield and have the cops pepper spray him. Hey, guess what? Saw that at Ohio Stadium last time we saw a game there. Thomas and Lincoln, our resident Texas fan, says hook 'em horns all the way. Would you like to watch a Texas-Georgia Part 3 for the national championship, Strick?
I'm a man of a good sequel, or what do you call it? Threequel.
Trilogy.
Okay.
Threequel is in the Strictionary now, but it's a trilogy.
Right? Threequel. Yeah, that's in the Strictionary. We add that in. I'm okay with a trilogy. There's some good ones out there. Some start to wane. Like, for example, Friday the 13th after the third one went down south for me. Nightmare on Elm Street after the third ones went down for me. Terminator, probably the same. There's some that after the third ones, it's just
Star Wars.
Star Trek. I talked about
yeah.
that. Wrath of Khan was the last one I got excited about. But I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say, I want to see some fresh meat, new blood, fresh clothes. So fresh and so clean. I want clean slates. I want something fresh. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see an underdog team, whoever that is, Boise State, Indiana.
Notre Dame an underdog? SMU an underdog? Penn State an underdog?
There you go. SMU. And I wouldn't even mind seeing Penn State break through because it's a storyline. We couldn't get right, but we got it right this time. You know what I mean? I'm okay with those storylines. I'm glad, I'm in some parts of me, I'm glad Alabama got ousted.
Hey, tell them.
I wouldn't mind. You know who I'm going to tell you who I wouldn't mind?
Hit me.
Tennessee and Penn State.
Ooh, okay, Stricky.
You see where I'm going? I wouldn't mind that because those are the two teams out of each conference that have been the stepchild, the Cinderella of their conference, where the wicked stepsisters was just coming in and doing them like Dave Chappelle did Eddie Murphy's couch or Prince's couch. Eddie Murphy's couch. They've been the child that's been getting stepped on and kicked and spit on and just everything, golden showered on. There's everything, right? I wouldn't mind seeing that. Talk to me.
Fair enough. I don't really want to see Texas win it. I don't want to see Georgia backdoor their way into it. Right? They found a way to backdoor their way to the SEC championship. Other than that, Stricky, I'm fine.
With anything and everything else.
Pretty much everything else.
Oregon finally break. Like, as much as we talk about Oregon and where they are and where they haven't been there.
Zero.
So even throw Oregon in that mix. I'm okay with Oregon.
I'm not mad at Oregon.
I'm mad at Oregon. The only reason I'm mad at Oregon because it's big bank, take little bank. It's like going in and you're James Harden going into Club Onyx and you threw 50 bands in the air for the chicas in the spot. And I'm little old me sitting in the corner with my little bottle.
Little old me.
I'm sitting over there like, how can I compete with that? That's what the only reason I'm like bump Oregon, poof, is because of that. Big bank, take little bank right now.
They're the last undefeated though. You want to see them complete it?
No,
I'm mad at
I mean, I'm not mad.
I'm not mad at Arizona State on the heater. I'm not mad
at
Clemson answering all the questions.
I'm half and half.
I'm not mad at Tennessee coming from the brink. Ohio State fighting off all those questions. More selfishly than anything, I'd like to see Ohio State make a run to be vindicated. But if they lose, I'm mad about it. See ya. SMU would be so fun.
That
Talk
would
about
be
big
fun,
bank. They're
bro.
bankrolling their way there.
No, they are bankrolling.
Penn State
Because-
answering
what, did
questions.
you know-
Boise.
They got 7 Miami transfers.
Woo.
And
Yeah.
how do you get that?
Mm-hmm.
You got to do what?
Bankroll.
You need some George Bush type money. You need that good oil money.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Now, shout out to the cornerback. Like, I learned a story during the game for them is their quarterback, gosh dang, I just drew a blank on the name. The quarterback for SMU. What'd you say?
Kevin Jennings.
Jennings. Okay. He was a quarterback at DeSoto.
Mm-hmm.
And
he balled.
They said they went to recruit another player and happened to see him and just couldn't fight him. Couldn't. It was like, man, it was a John Morant type story. Like, we're going to see somebody else, and I just happened to go in and get a hot dog and walk by and was like, wait a minute, who's this guy that just went up and just banged on somebody's head? Woo. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, shout out to them. I think that's pretty cool, man. They just said, hey, we don't need your money. You know, we're gonna come in, and they get to the championship game in the first year of the ACC. I love it. I love those stories, man.
We will keep talking about the college football playoff as we inch closer, but we got to go to break. Brian Munson of Husker Online on the other side. His final thoughts on Nebraska's 2025 signing class and more right after this.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Make Hog Wild the centerpiece of your holiday meal. Pre-order a 4-pound boneless ham for $50, a 12-pound whole smoked turkey, or a 4-pound turkey breast for $55. A complete meal includes your choice of a whole turkey or turkey breast, mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, green beans or corn, and a dozen rolls for $130. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com soon. Quantities are limited. All weights are approximate before cooking. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
The Huskers are headed to the Pinstripe Bowl. Cheer on the Huskers in New York City on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour offered by the Nebraska Alumni Association. Your bowl package includes a 2-night hotel stay, round-trip transportation on game day, pregame events, and more. Spots are limited, so book your spot now on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour with the Nebraska Alumni Association. Go to HuskerFanTravel.com or call 888-831-0858. That's 888-831-0858 or HuskerFanTravel.com. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block, brought to you by the great people at Nebco. Some of you might be watching us on Allo Channel 961. Appreciate Allo for that, as well as our VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We go there now. We welcome in Husker Online's Brian Munson. Brian, how was your weekend, my good friend?
Everything was great up until yesterday afternoon, and then Josh decided to put on a show, and the defense just couldn't hold. And actually, the special teams giving up that block punt that killed them. That just took away a possession that you weren't going to get back. So no, it was a tough game, and I think they saw what they needed to get better at before they go to Pontiac, Michigan next weekend.
That's going to be a big one. It's going to be a fun one to watch. But Brian, take some solace, take some comfort. The Rams have done that before. I remember it was 6, 7, 8 years ago now. The Rams under Jared Goff went down to Mexico City against the Chiefs and won a dumb game like that. Rams, of course, go on to the Super Bowl. So maybe you just played a Super Bowl contender in the Rams. Who's to say?
It's possible. I mean, they're definitely kind of peaking at the right time. They're getting healthy. Puka, newfound respect for him. Oh my goodness, one of the best in the game for sure. Definitely missed a late procedure call, and I thought Cooper might have held on the edge once there late in that last drive. But nevertheless, all that stuff is just part of the game. Buffalo should never have allowed the punt block, and they punted a couple too many times, and they didn't really hand the ball over to Josh and said, "Go do what you do," until like the second half, and just a little bit too late. Just a couple things here or there that they need to tidy up a little bit. But again, I mean, 3 touchdowns throwing, 3 touchdowns running. I mean, the offensive production in that game, over 800 yards, no turnovers, no sacks. Unbelievable. Just a crazy game.
That it was. Was it as crazy for Nebraska football on early National Signing Day, or did things go pretty much to script and to plan, Brian?
I think it was pretty much the way that we expected it to be. I mean, nevertheless, I mean, Nebraska did get a pleasant surprise, or stuff that we had kind of predicted with Cortez Mills flipping on National Signing Day, which was good news for Nebraska. I mean, they had put in a lot of time and a lot of effort to continue to recruit Cortez even after he committed to Oklahoma way back in April. So to get this payday, basically 7.5 months later, it was pretty huge. But he's very tightly connected to Dawson Merritt, to Dylan Raiola, to TJ Lateef, Ja'Cory Barney, all the guys basically in the 2024 class that were from South Florida. He's connected to them. And now all of a sudden, Phil Simpson is rumored to be coming back to Nebraska too. And Phil Simpson was actually his high school head coach back in the day, 3 years ago. So that's a pretty big deal as well. So I think the Cortez Mills flip in the end, I think it's I think there's 2 things we can kind of take away. Number one, through all of the distractions, through all the rumors, all the stuff happening negatively, Nebraska didn't lose anybody. Nebraska didn't lose anybody down that stretch up to signing day. They got Jeremiah Jones. They got Malcolm Simpson. There were a ton of guys that were getting a late charge, from other schools, in particular like Dawson Merritt. He was getting contacted by everybody. Getting all those guys in, it was huge. But then obviously I think the flipping stuff went really in Nebraska's favor. If you think about the top guys in this class, the 3 of the top 4 guys were all flips. You look at Dawson Merritt, Cortez Mills, Isaiah Mosey, all flips. And then you start getting kind of down there again. There's some other ones like Juju Marks. He was a flip guy from Kansas. So I think the flips really went well for Nebraska. I love what they did in Kansas City. And it's going to be very interesting to see, obviously, how they kind of build onto that in 2026.
A couple of those guys that you mentioned right there, Dawson Merritt and Malcolm Simpson specifically, we know that Nebraska has lost quite a bit on the defensive line to the transfer portal. Jamari Butler out, Prince Willie Monmielen at the jack spot out, Vincent Jackson out as well, and then just today, Keona Davis. Are Simpson and Merritt guys you think can come in and play from day one, or those guys that you think would be best served by a redshirt and then breaking onto the field in their redshirt freshman years?
Well, I mean, it's really tough to talk about like what the redshirt year even looks like anymore. I mean, the way that the portal is kind of reshaping everything. I mean, it almost seems like red shirts are basically null and void because you got to start counting towards a 105, which means you have to have some level of productivity or looking like you're going to be productive in the next year, as opposed to can't get any good film, didn't have any good reps, can't really sell to either the school that I am at currently or any other school in the country that I'm worthy of a shot, or a spot in the 105. So I kind of think that the redshirt stuff is kind of over with. But that being said, you bring up two really interesting dudes, and I'll tell you what, Dawson Merritt is hurt. He's got a shoulder injury. Now, he's going to miss some time coming in, but he's not going to be completely on the shelf. It was just a partially torn labrum. A lot of times they just clean that up, but sometimes it does tear enough to where they do anchors. So I've had a couple of shoulder injuries myself. My son's ready to get one of him, also. So I'm pretty familiar with all that stuff. But, yeah, he's going to be, laid up until April, March, something like that. And then Malcolm Simpson, he's a basketball guy. So he's playing basketball for Hitchcock. He won't be in Nebraska until June. So I don't know what, like you take him and Pedchock, you take Simpson, Pedchock, and Terry, and I'd say you had a very solid defensive line class. Problem is all three of them don't get there until June. So you just, you've got to either hope that one or more are ready to go because the names you listed off, the Robinson out, Butler out, Hutmacher out, you're looking for some help up front, and obviously you mentioned Keona here a second ago. So there's a lot of places potentially that those guys could find a way to work themselves into a rotation, and it's just going to be a matter of how ready they are when they walk into Lincoln in June.
Another position on defense that I think there's potentially some opportunity for a couple of in-state guys is at linebacker. Christian Jones, the high school Butkus winner, and Pierce Mooberry out of Millard North. Do you see rotational snaps for those guys maybe?
I definitely do. I mean, I think Christian Jones, what an honor, first of all. I mean, if Nebraska fans went back through and saw some of the other names that were being considered for that award, you'd realize those guys, took visits to Nebraska. Nebraska was also very high on them as well. So huge honor for Christian. Christian, is a guy that I could see playing that jack spot. We were talking about Prince Will, just a second ago, kind of leaving that opening there, that void. I think Christian's also a guy that I don't really see like a need to kind of fence him in too much. I know inside linebacker is a bit of a stretch. He's never played it before. It's a little different, considering the defense that they're playing there in Lincoln. So it's a possibility, I think, that you could probably go ahead and do it. And I think you can walk him up. I think you can do all sorts of different things with him. I think he's a very versatile guy. But Mooberry has got the range. I mean, Mooberry is a guy that also was getting looks to play, tight end in D1. So that he can move. He's a little bit longer. So 6'2"-ish, is Jones to 6'4"-ish with Mooberry. A little lighter, kind of, I don't want to say like Sean Fisher-esque, kind of longer that way. But I think that range will help him out and that length will help him out, like with dropping off into space and taking up a little bit more room. So that's definitely something that Nebraska is going to need. It's just going to depend on how, all those guys are early enrollers. So those guys right there will get to Lincoln, here in the next 2 weeks or so, probably be enrolled into some practices before they take off to New York. At least get a chance to kind of soak it up a little bit and then come back and hit the ground running in January.
How common is it for these early enrollees to be taken on a team's bowl trip?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, Nebraska hasn't had an opportunity in a while.
Right.
But, I mean, and talking to Dawson Merritt, because, the Alabama commitment, the former Alabama commitment, they had conversations, already going with their commits. Like, hey, yeah, as soon as you guys can get here, basically you're rolling right into bowl prep and, you'll be out there doing these things. You're going to have a chance to do all these practices. You can get here as soon as like December 7th. And I'm like, whoa. Like, how is that happening in the first place? A lot of these guys have school like through the 20th. So, yeah, a little bit different world, I think, for some, but I think what's going on there a little bit is like the later the bowl, the better, because you have these high schools that are not going to wrap up and the seniors, are not getting like basically the 2 weeks off before the rest of the school does, like you typically get in the May term. But this year now, it's like you show up, You get an opportunity to kind of get folded in. I think with the portal guys kind of moving out, you have to kind of create room. You can't just blindly grab everyone and say you're all traveling. It has to be like, there's a tit for tat kind of thing. Well, he's not going because he's in the portal. He's not going because he's injured. Then we can grab this many guys. Well, I think they have 13 early enrollers, and there's still some questions around, I think some of them, about when technically, they could really be available, because transcripts have to transfer and they have to be approved. And there's really no protocol in place for anybody to get their transcript looked at sooner than somebody else. There's really nothing on here that says, hey, this guy is a Nebraska football commitment, therefore he kind of bubbles up to the top. So that part there is going to be an interesting process to watch. But I think Nebraska's figuring this out a little bit as they go.
Brian, one last thing before we let you go, man. Thanks for joining us as always. And
buddy.
I'll be down there. I got to get away. Here's the thing, B. What are you hearing out there when you're talking about now you're having to get these numbers shrunk significantly, and you're talking about not only transfer portal, new additions from high school. What is the conversation that you're having with teams or with programs or with coaches on how to handle this part of just how crazy it's been just over the last 3 years with NIL and with changes and adjustments and CFP and all these different things that are happening now? Because there's a timetable on that too, where you need to have discussions with the guys that are on your roster so that they can do what they need to do. Like, how crazy is this system that you're hearing about right now, as far as the shrinking of the numbers that the team need to have?
Well, I had 2025 commits, guys that had just signed on Wednesday, concerned that they may or may not have spots in the 105. I mean, they just didn't understand it. I mean, there is just, it's such a new era of where we are at with college football. I don't like it. I don't like it personally. I don't think anything, however, is really going to change to see, I think the NCAA now is all about, bringing as much money in with this process, as opposed to, some of this stuff now, the greed that kind of is associated to it. I think that some guys can kind of take a look at some of these guys that'll be declaring for the portal, and you'll have like a Cade Proctor type of scenario that left Alabama, goes to Iowa for a semester, and then leaves after a semester, and basically, getting some sort of a check, and then going right back to where he was at. I mean, there has to be some reeled in transfer rules, number one. Number two, I think that there has to be another conversation around, if you're not a 5-star or a 4-star guy and you get an offer from a D1 school, you better snap it up, because those things are going to be far and few between, I think, moving forward. Think about the trickle down effect here too, guys, just really quick. You have, so you take 30 some odd players, right, that are going to get trimmed off of Nebraska's roster. Let's say that it's 120 other schools around the country trimming the same number of players from that roster. What does that do to players at the FCS level? What does that do for players at the Division II level and beyond? I mean, what about the guys at that level that were trying to be a Samari Toure kind of guy? They're trying to move up from FCS to Division I. I mean, what about the guys that are going to be at Division I level thinking, yeah, I can just slide across to another school here and be no problem. Now all of a sudden they're wondering in mid-January whether or not they're going to get another opportunity. So I think that there's a lot of cautious tales that people are going to have after this is all said and done, Strick, where people will have to use them as examples to point to, you got to consider what happened to so-and-so and what happened to so-and-so. I mean, when you have representation going around the schools and personally coming towards the players to let them know about the interest, the bags of money that are there. I mean, Dylan Raiola is getting that too. I mean, what's really happening is up to this portal thing here is that people aren't really necessarily walking through or declaring for the portal, but they're essentially, everybody is available and can listen to what the opportunities might be. And then if they decide that's good enough for them, then they can go ahead and push the button. That's outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous. This no contractual, no love obligation, no honor among thieves kind of thing really is killing it for me this year.
Two quick ones and then a big picture one. Number one, how close was Nebraska to losing Jeremiah Jones, to your knowledge?
I think it was a fair amount. I mean, it didn't help that Nebraska had finally slid him over to the offensive side of the football, and then the rumors started to come out about Garrett McGuire, no longer, being at Nebraska. That did not help. And, I mean, it didn't help either that he had just reaffirmed his commitment, just revisited for the Wisconsin game, had a great experience, really got a chance to sit down with Garrett, and then all of a sudden Garrett's gone. I think that was tough. I mean, I think really, really tough. Plus the pressure that Missouri was giving, as well as the bag that they can throw around, it was considerable. It was disruptive. It was disruptive to his process.
Is there a player that Husker fans maybe aren't talking enough about in the 25 recruiting class you think can have an impact for the Huskers in a couple of years?
No, buddy, I love Cade Pedshock. I'm a defensive lineman, so there's my bias. I'll tell you right now, there is some Grant Wistrom in this kid. I'm telling you right now. Love his motor. Absolutely love his motor. He actually plays offensive tackle, and he's the guy, even though being recruited as a defensive lineman, he's the one I tell my freshman son who's also an offensive tackle, I said, go watch Pedshock. That guy can play ball. He has got an absolute motor. He has no stop in him, and that's what I really remember about Grant is just him flying off the edge, and Pedshock will be able to do that for the Huskers too. So that's a guy, just regardless of him not being able to get there in June, he figures into Nebraska's plan next year, in my opinion.
Then according to On3, who you write for Husker Online, of course, part of the On3 network, Nebraska's 2025 class ranks 6th in the Big Ten and 21st nationally. Is that about where you think Nebraska can live under Matt Rule? Does Nebraska need to find a way to tick that up a couple notches if they want to challenge for the college football playoff moving forward?
This is a weird year. This is a super weird year. I think Matt was very conscientious of the 105 and really decided to go ahead and push back, on some guys and push back the idea of kind of opening it back up again. And I think that they didn't really understand what was going to happen with the portal and their own roster. And now, of course, we're seeing some stuff, and some guys I don't think that would have been like, people they would have had a conversation with to say it's never going to happen here. But, some guys that are walking away that you're just like going, I don't think they were anticipating that. Now you're looking for this guy. Now you're looking for this position. This is, I want to say, a really tough year to kind of take away a lot of data points from it. I'll be really interested to see maybe what happens next year, how they're going to manage the 105 and what other rules kind of come around it. But I think Nebraska is going to be very, very active in the portal, looking for offensive tackle help, looking for wide receiver help. I know they just got a good class of people rolling their eyes probably right now saying that Nebraska doesn't need more wide receivers. They need guys that can block. And I agree. I would absolutely agree. I think tackle and wide receiver are the big ones on the offensive side, outside shot on a running back, defensive line guys, probably even like a boundary corner or somebody else that can kind of move back and forth between some positions over there in the third level. So, no, I think you have to look at more of a combined look once you get the portal guys there and see what you get as far as your class is concerned.
That's Brian Munson of Husker Online, our guest on our Aloe Fiber VIP line. Brian, as always, appreciate your time here at 3:30 on a Monday. Great local. Send people to Husker Online to check out some more. As always, appreciate your time, Brian. Thanks, man.
Later, guys. See ya.
Again, Brian joined us on our VIP line brought to you by Aloe Fiber. That's where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. On3.com, find the Husker Online vertical. Worth every penny, especially as we get to later signing day. You didn't get to ask Brian if there's anything on the horizon for the Huskers there. Got plenty of good stuff on early signing day and the portal. We'll go to break, cross it over with Old School, wrap up on the block in just a sec.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Salt Mine City is now open at 8th and R in the Haymarket. Come check out Lincoln's newest brewery with 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager, Brick Street Amber Wheat, and so many more. There's daily drink specials like $1 off Moscow Mules on Tuesdays, $6 IPAs on Fridays, and $6 Bloody Marys on Saturdays. Stop by Tuesday through Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Fridays 4 to 11 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sundays from noon to 8 p.m. It's Salt Mine City, Lincoln's newest brewery at 8th and R.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back one final time here during On the Block.
Yeah.
No fair dodging, Strick. Jay's got something for you, apparently.
Yeah.
You hear it?
Yeah.
Jay Foreman joins Austin on the trucking on the crossover.
How you doing?
What you got for
How
Strick?
you doing, my brother?
How you doing, Austin? You all right?
Great, Strick. We got a guest. Let's be polite.
What's up, homie?
I'm all right. I'm gravy. Matter of fact, what's up? What's happening? Talk to your boy. How you doing? You had a good weekend?
Yeah, it was all right. I don't even know what I did, but it's cool.
You got everything ready to go to New York?
I don't think I'm going.
Oh,
I didn't get the invite.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I mean, Yankee Stadium. I thought, that's big time for you. You used to the New York flow, Buffalo.
Yeah,
it's right down the road.
I played for the Giants too. Yeah, I still got some friends back there. Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, they're good. I get a text every once in a while from Strahan. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's originally from Houston. He's a good
Strahan
brother.
from Houston?
Yeah.
Did he keep the teeth like Anthony Davis kept the unibrow?
I asked him about that. I did ask him, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I got picked up by the Giants with about 10 or 11 games left in the season. And it was kind of funny. Once I got past year 7, going to see my grandma every time I got picked up, it was like you get in, walk in there, get that good food, get some chitlins and get some Maryland blue crabs, and next thing you know, the phone started ringing.
You put hot sauce on yours? Of course
you know that. You know. Don't even. Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yes,
of course you do.
So Strahan, he knew who I was or whatever, and I was a veteran coming in, and they had some linebacker issues. And he was cool, man. And I'm gonna tell you one thing about him. He
what was the scheme? 3-4?
4-3.
4-3.
Yeah, but he was technician, played, practiced hard. Didn't practice much, but because he's getting a little bit older. But I'm telling you, he was very diligent about his work. But then every day after practice, I'm talking about every day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would be there late because I was there late for the first 4 or 5 weeks. So I was trying to find, get the playbook, special teams, all that. I didn't know if I was going to play. Had to get into game shape because Tom Coughlin's practices Hey, Strick, your boy was cramping.
y'all
Oh,
out.
hey, because he was like, Tom Coughlin said, listen, I got to get you ready to play. You taking every rep.
Dang.
Scout team, and then I was getting in on defense, so I was getting half of those, and then all special teams.
Ooh.
And you knew, so you know how it is, right?
You got
Strahan was like, yeah, he getting it out of you. He laughing at me and stuff. But every day after practice, I'm telling you, he was doing something and learning media. Like
okay,
he was doing something.
He was preparing for what he's doing now.
So he had somebody that was worked for the news station, big time news guy, and was kind of helping him. And Jay Glazer was around a lot like then. You remember that Big Daddy dude that was doing the insurance? He was around. So he had that. You know what I mean? Remember he did the best damn sports show. He would leave and then go out there. And he was cool, man. And then one time, you remember when we had a battle. Well, Eli didn't play good. They were killing him. Strahan went to bat for him. You remember when Strahan was eating like a muffin or something, and he was going off on the reporter, and it was flying through his gap. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So my locker was 4 down from him. So when
Did it reach you?
No, but I'm watching him because he had this like. He had an extra step on his locker, so he was up high. So I'm watching it, and I'm over there laughing, right? Because I'm trying to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, what they gonna ask me for, right? Yeah. But then I asked him about his gap, and he said he used to be real self-conscious about it, but then as he started to get in New York, that's what I'm known for.
Identifier.
He's like, I ain't never getting rid of it. Yeah, and that's it, man. And it's made him. I mean, heck, he got his own suits. I mean, he's great at what he does, and I think
he's a good marketer of himself.
But that's who he is, though.
Yeah,
he's a good dude, man. I mean, he ain't had no reason to be cool to me. I mean, the first day I got there, he picked me up, took me out. I mean, took me to eat. Just kind of. I mean, but that was the Giants' way, though.
Quick break.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
So there's been a little run-of-the-mill situation that's been going on in here, and I just picked it up now. He's a good dude, man. But,
Strahan?
Yeah, Strahan's a good dude.
You don't like
he
him?
bumped heads. No, I do. He bumped heads with a guy by the name of Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? So,
Why are you worried about what the man did in his personal life?
Hold on a second. No, because I'm moving on. What's really going on with old girl, man? Now she with your young buck. What's his name? Lil Jordan.
This dude here.
What are we doing?
We on days of our life.
Is that why everybody needs to go?
We on the
we
gossip
talked
tour.
about so Strahan. I just said, God dang, man, that's how
Do
they
you know
it
what
today.
happened with Strahan?
No.
Her, yeah, so it's out there now that he was gonna marry her. Like they was tight, and by no means I act like we best friends, but I mean, if I see him at the Super Bowl, whatever, we'll chop it up for a little bit, so forth and so on. But
just a little on the block gossip.
She was well, there ain't no gossip. It's factual.
It's factual.
She was out in the street.
She was in them streets.
Yeah, and he ain't know because that's when he was really.
She
trying
belongs
to do his
to the
thing.
streets.
Yeah. Now I don't know what it is with little baby Jordan or whatever. He just making it around.
They got it on tape. Just
parlaying,
Fondaleo, all over in the.
You're in the club, man.
I'm like, God,
you're club kid.
Dang.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you guys.
What did you have for Strick? You said you brought something for him.
No, I'm gonna let LeBron thing go, okay? Because I know that because I got his little text message talking about LeBron should just retire. Then I hit him with the triple double. But I'm gonna tell you this right now. I haven't been listening, but I'm gonna tell you what somebody told me. He said y'all two specifically are way too soft on Scott Frost. Y'all two. Hey, watch this, Strick. Watch it. Look, y'all two.
You know what that signal mean?
They say y'all too soft on Scott Frost.
You know what that signal mean? Alabama. Strick ain't soft on that.
Hey, you actually from Columbus, Georgia, though? Because I looked it up on the Appalachia is right. It's close to Columbus.
It's close to Columbus. Columbus is closer to the border.
You and Farley, that's why you Auburn fan. So Farley ain't no Georgia fan. He an Auburn fan.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's how we do.
Auburn fan. He's a Georgia fan.
Who?
No, if you know his dad, he wore Eagle.
Why did this person say we were soft on Scott Frost?
because you guys are saying that he never won the league. And
Who said that?
That's what somebody said on the air today, talking about he's back.
I said the way that Scott portrayed it makes it seem like it wasn't his. It was his choice, but it wasn't really his choice to come to Nebraska. The way he's setting it up was that he would tell you Nebraska is his dream job, but he wouldn't say it with his chest out. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he didn't say it with.
I listened to what he said.
Yeah,
and that's what you got to say. He's very comfortable down there. It's a totally different job. You can go to the grocery store and all that. He wanted this job. He was paid handsomely. He was paid. He was paid handsomely for this job.
I said that's why I think he came is because of the money.
It was his dream job. It was his dream job, and at that point in time in his career, it looked like he was ready. He wasn't ready, and then I'm telling you right now, people don't understand it. Like you get here, I'm telling you, and note that. Say if I was a coach. And I don't have, saying I got the Gopher job. And then sometimes you can lose focus. That's not the whole reason. I mean, but then worldwide pandemic hit. Whether you believe in it or not, if you think it's fake, there wasn't any football. So just call that. There was like, boop, DVR'd on football. That hurt his tenure more than any other coach out there.
I believe
because you didn't have a winning culture. You hadn't won yet. You're trying to rebuild a program. The program probably wasn't as bad talent-wise as it was made to be, because his best year offensively was with Mike Riley guys. Kind of like how Urban Meyer won 2 championships with Ron Zooks, but we could just keep, we'll just keep that together. And then all of a sudden Urban Meyer got sick and said, I gotta go win what Jim Tressel got. We'll just leave that there, but we'll just get back on Frost, right? You know what I'm saying, right? Okay. So that's really affected his tenure, but he won this job.
Okay.
But
that's
the best
thing,
but
you only heard that on the block.
Appreciate that.
I'm just saying.
But the best thing, this is what it'll come down to. If he's came to terms with it whether he thinks it's a small part, medium part, or big part of it not working, if he just comes to terms with that, that'd be good. Number 2, before we leave you with this, everybody that put their neck out for him willingly, like you got to rectify it, because how does that like
it doesn't balance out.
Well, no, because then if you get somewhere else, then if you just up there just kind of like always a taker, it's gonna come out in your pores somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? So at this point in time, where college football is here, from the time he left, it's changed 4 times. So now this is,
and he wasn't involved in the college game at all.
No, and he just recently got in. So those are the things. As long as he does that, like when he does that, and it doesn't have to be right away. There might be a time that where, like after his first season down there, he really is at peace. You know what? You pick up the phone call. You call this dude. You might not even have to call him. You could text and say, "Hey, look, dude. I'm sorry. Not even I'm sorry. Hey, it didn't work out. I appreciate what you did. Boom. Don't even reply. You don't need a reply, because you're gonna have to be able to do that at your tenure down there at some point in time.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to rectify.
Because it's not going to, because it won't be perfect.
Yeah.
It won't be. You're going to have to lean on people. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to do that, because the X's and O's and all that stuff, you can call plays. He got the creme, he got the recruiting base. He's going to be able to call plays. He's going to be able to do that. So everything else, as far as being able to get back on point. If you want a perfect example, look at Lane.
Kiffin?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He had to go.
James Franklin of the SEC.
No, but what I'm saying, from his tenure when he was
Tennessee, USC,
and everything in between. Okay,
yeah,
Lane was tripping, and then he found his way.
He did,
and and he's boxed in where he's at.
And he found a spot that's good for him.
But then also he understands his weaknesses. One of my good friends is very close. I know Lane, but he's very close with Lane.
Yeah.
Where he is now versus the way he was is totally two different things. Two different. He knows that he got somebody that can kind of be there and kind of be his blind spots, so he can function at his highest.
Yeah.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about some more. We got transfer portal. We got to get back on our transfer portal tracker.
The Vortex.
Oh, my God.
gosh.
That Vortex is
551 as of 11 o'clock.
Hey,
Central
you
today.
know, like when you used to play that NBA Jam, and he's on
He's
fire.
on fire.
And remember when the controllers would start to kind of
Shake.
the Vortex is shaking.
Ugh,
Bursting at the seams.
good stuff.
College football playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna go see who.
Playing football to January 20th, my boy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you want to be a pro? Let's see. Let's see how
Yeah,
let's
see
see
how
our
you
staying
do.
power.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah, a little
That'll
play,
be
a
old
little
school.
NFL.
DP and
Play
J.
Patrick Mahomes.
Once
Doinked it
again,
in for the division.
Hey, let me tell you something. If you're gonna beat the Chiefs, you gotta kill them.
Dead.
You gotta blow them out.
don't play with it.
No, you
Let's see the
Don't
body.
play with it.
Let's see the
Don't
body.
play with it.
you quick.
Don't play
You
with
got.
it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say who you gotta be like, but yeah, you gotta keep my mouth shut. Get
He's
in
Jay.
trouble. You know what I was
He's
gonna say
Strick.
too,
I'm
Strick.
Austin. Thanks to Nevco for sponsoring On the Block. We'll talk to you tomorrow,
Hey.
too. Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at